Hi, this video is all about food chains and food webs. Starting off with the sun. The sun is the original source of all energy on Earth. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Oh, that was exciting. I don't know what I pressed. Plants are the ones who make food with that energy. So then all the energy made in a food web or a food chain comes from the plants, converting sunlight into energy with photosynthesis. The rest of the food chain just uses the energy, so they must consume other plants or animals to survive. Trophic levels. Scientists describe each level in a food chain with a trophic level. There are 5 trophic levels. Level 1 are plants. They are the producers. I might just move my face over here so you can see the picture. Level 2 are animals that eat plants, also called herbivores. Oh, look at that. Mrs. Marini made a typo. It says animals that eat plants, also called herbivores, vores. I don't know why there's an extra vores on the end of herbivores, but anyway, let's continue. They are called the primary consumers. So in this example, you can see the grasshopper is the primary consumer. Level 3 are the animals that eat the herbivores, and they are called the secondary consumers or carnivores. Level 4 are the animals that eat the carnivores, and they are tertiary consumers, also still just called carnivores. Finally, we have the animals at the top of the food chain, and they are called the apex predators. Nothing eats these animals, like the eagle. The last link in the food chain are the decomposers. They break down the nutrients in the dead stuff and return it to the soil. So that's our earthworm. He's the decomposer, and when all of the other things in the food chain die, it's the earthworm that munches on them and returns the nutrients within back to the soil for the plants to grow. Here's an example of some food chains. I might move my face over here now. Okay, so we have a grassland ecosystem, a pond ecosystem, and an ocean ecosystem. And starting with the producers, we have the grass, the algae, and the phytoplankton, which all make their own food. They are all producers, and they are in turn eaten by the primary consumers. So the grasshopper eats the grass, the mosquito larvae eats the algae, and the zooplankton eats the phytoplankton. Following that, we then have the secondary consumers. So these are the animals that eat the primary consumers. The rat eats the grasshopper. The dragonfly larvae eats the mosquito larvae. The fish eats the zooplankton. Following that, we have the tertiary consumers that eat the secondary consumers. The snake eats the rat. The fish eats the dragonfly larvae, and the seal eats the fish. Finally, we have our apex predators. So these are the animals that aren't eaten by anything else. And that is the hawk eats the snake, the raccoon eats the fish, and the great white shark will eat the seal. Food webs. In an ecosystem, there are many food chains, and generally most plants and animals are part of several chains. And when you draw all the chains together, you end up with a food web, like this one. Food webs are more realistic than food chains for showing how consumers and producers are interconnected in nature. In a food web, the arrow moves from the organism to who it is eaten by. Okay, so let's have a look. The tree is eaten by the giraffe, and the giraffe is eaten by the lion. The grass is eaten by the mouse is eaten by the caracal, and the caracal is eaten by the snake, which is eaten by the baboon, which is eaten by the leopard. Let's have another look at how a food chain is constructed. All right, so I'm going to move me this side now so we can see the sun. So the sun is the origin of all the energy on Earth. And using that sunlight, the plant is producing sugars in its leaf because it is the producer. Now, the snail eats the plant, but the rabbit also eats the plant. Now, the thrush, this bird, eats the snail, but the thrush also eats earthworms. A peregrine falcon eats the thrush, but a fox will also eat a thrush. That's the name of this bird, by the way. A red fox will also eat a rabbit, and the peregrine falcon also likes to eat rabbits. Nothing eats the peregrine falcon, so it is an apex predator. So is the red fox. It is also an apex predator. Now, eventually, all of these things here in the food chain will die. And when they do die, it is then the decomposer's turn in the food web. So fungi will decompose all of the dead animals and plants in the food web. So will the earthworms. And the earthworms will also like to have a munch on the fungi. So there you have it. That is a food web, and that is how they all work together to show how everything is interconnected. This is my interconnected hand signal. Okay, that's it for this video. Bye.